The strange calm. After Elbaf. After the intense saga in Elbaf, where Luffy and his crew allied with the giants to stop a new threat from the world government, something unusual began to happen. The world seemed too calm. No attack from the Navy. No movement from Blackbeard. Not even Cypher Paul agents were on the lookout. The most attentive fans know, in One Piece, calm means preparation, and often, silence comes before tragedy. Hashinosu, the Cursed Island. In old newspapers from the world of One Piece, the name Hashinosu appears discreetly on nautical maps of the Grand Line. It is a forgotten island, covered in fog and historically used as an escape route by pirates in ancient times. In recent years, its commercial activity has been zero, and the island has come to be considered a dead zone. So why would Garp have ended up in Hashinosu? Some believe that after the events of Hashinosu, where Garp faced Blackbeard's gang. To save Kobe, the marine hero continued to pursue the ramifications of the Teach Empire. Hashinosu, in this context, would make sense as clandestine strategic point. Perhaps an auxiliary base for Van Augur or Shiryu. But this is where the theory begins to take shape. There is no confirmation that Garp actually went there. The letter that changed everything. The eye. Trigger comes when, in the midst of the calm after Elbaf, Luffy receives a letter. But this letter does not come from the Navy. It doesn't come through Dragon, nor through Sabo, and, even stranger, it doesn't come with a signature. She just says, Garp was killed in Hashinosu. The world will soon know. Prepare yourself. This kind of message would be easily dismissed by someone rational. But Luffy is different. He's instinctive, emotional. And Garp is all that remains of his childhood. Of what was his family, he's the one who, even in a strict way, took care of him, Ace and Sabo. He's the one who smiled before Marineford collapsed. And if there's one thing One Piece has shown us, it's that Luffy can handle anything, except losing someone he loves. The psychology of the coup. This is Teach's real weapon. Blackbeard is not just brute strength. He is manipulation. He provoked Ace to get his brother to come after him. He used the Marineford War as a stage to steal Whitebeard's powers. And now, perhaps I'm using fake news as a trap, sending information without evidence but with a strong emotional charge. He may be trying to provoke an explosive and rash reaction from Luffy. And here comes the central point of the theory. What if this whole letter is fake? What if Garp is alive but being used as bait? Teach already knows that facing Luffy head-on is risky. But if you can break your emotional balance, the battle changes completely. Luffy's reaction. Luffy was never a strategist. He doesn't stop to think when someone important is at risk. In Eni's lobby, he faced the world government for Robin. In Impel Down, he broke into the most secure prison in the world for Ace. In Whole Cake, he went to Big Mom for Sanji. And now, with Garp? The most accepted theory is that Luffy, upon receiving the letter, enters an unprecedented state of fury. It's not the same Luffy who smiles. It's not the same as getting excited about adventures. It's a Luffy silent, determined, and willing to break boundaries. A Luffy who, for the first time, can start a war, the Blackbeard standard. But why believe this is a trap? Let's get to the facts. Blackbeard is methodical. He does not act on impulse. He waited for the exact moment to act at Marineford. And he may be doing the same now. Teach's gang is missing. After Hashinosu, there is no major movement recorded. This suggests that they are plotting something in secret. The media is controlled in the world of One Piece. Morgans have been used to manipulate headlines, including by revolutionary and government interests. It is possible that Blackbeard has corrupted this channel or other means of spreading the letter without leaving a trace. Hashinosu is off the map. If Garp really is there, why didn't any admiral go after him? Why was only Luffy warned? The Navy's silence may indicate complicity. Or that they don't know the truth either. Narrator pauses, music slightly more intense. The reality is simple. Blackbeard is setting the stage for the greatest showdown of the current era, and if he can make Luffy move out of anger instead of will, can unbalance everything that is to come. The first spark. After reading the letter saying that Garp was killed in Hashinosu by Blackbeard's crew, Luffy doesn't say anything for hours. He doesn't eat. He doesn't sleep. He just stares at the sea. And then, for the first time since Marineford, the Straw Hat Captain shows something stronger than sadness. Fury. But it's not the common rage. It is not anger against the enemy of the day. It is the fury at the loss of someone who was, in his own way, a father, from someone who, even though he was a representative of the Navy, never stopped protecting him in his own way. Luffy's silence echoes through the crew. Zoro hears. Nami realizes. Sanji looks away. Usopp Trame. They know what's coming. Luffy won't wait for confirmation, it won't plan. He will back an Emperor's rebellion. From this point on, the theory holds that Luffy breaks any neutrality pact with the other Yonko, Shanks, Buggy, and even the Marines. Waited longer before the next conflict. But Luffy is not a politician. He is pure instinct. And now, his instinct has been hurt. According to this theoretical line, the Straw Hats sail towards Hashinosu even without knowing what they will find. The island, until then forgotten, returns to the center of the world. But this journey is not just physical, it's emotional. For the first time since Marineford, Luffy isn't fighting for a dream. He is fighting for revenge, the world's reaction. The sea. Sudden movement of a sea emperor does not go unnoticed. The Navy panics. Sakazuki immediately summons admirals to contain the possible collision between Luffy and Teach. Kizaru hesitates. He already felt Luffy's power in Egghead. Smoker, now more experienced, realizes that stopping Luffy it's impossible. Cypher Paul goes silent. No one wants to make a strategic mistake in the face of a possible confrontation between two of the greatest pirates alive. Shanks observes, he already knew something like this would happen. After all, the flame that Luffy carries is uncontrollable. But the most interesting? Shanks does not move, as if he knew that this fight needs to happen. And Blackbeard? No response, no appearance, no warning, silence. And that's where the theory gains weight. Blackbeard's silence is confirmation that everything was planned. The gear. We've never seen, and then comes the most debated question in this theoretical line. Will this be the battle that awakens Luffy's true limit? During the Egghead arc, we saw Gear 5, the form that reflects the pure spirit of freedom, with the properties of a god molding reality as if it were rubber. But Gear 5 is driven by joy, creativity, impulse. What if Luffy goes into battle for hatred? Does Nika's power work the same way? Theories suggest yes, but with consequences. Luffy, in a state of rage, can access Nika's destructive side, the sun of rebellion, but without the balance of laughter. It would be an unstable, unpredictable form. Some fans call it Gear 5, Wrath form of fury, an intense manifestation of the will of D capable of shaking the climate, distorting the sea, and breaking the body's own physical limits, but at the same time, dangerous. Then, the E. More Luffy fights with hatred, the further he becomes from his true essence. The truth begins to leak out. As the war begins to take shape, new information reaches Robin through the revolution. Garp wasn't killed. He's alive, but he's missing. Sabo confirms the former. Vice Admiral may be held captive, or lost. But the letter sent to Luffy, it's a trap. Unfortunately, it is too late. Luffy has already left. The crew has already sworn to fight. The route is already set, and now, the whole world will see the collision between the man who carries the will of God and the man who distorts that same will to dominate chaos. The trigger of the pirate war. If this theory is confirmed, this conflict in Hashinosu could be what Marineford went to Roger, a point of no return. The Yonko will be on the move. The revolutionaries may intervene. The Navy will be forced to choose between neutrality or destruction. and the people of the world will realize that the reign of the world government is numbered. Because when a D gets angry, the world trembles, the manipulated will. If Blackbeard really did orchestrate fake news about Garp, he didn't do it just out of cruelty. He did it because he knows that messing with Luffy emotionally is the only way to make him act outside of his instinct for freedom. But here's the bottom line on this theory. Even in the face of manipulation, even in the face of anger, Luffy is still Luffy. And when the truth comes out, when he discovers that he was deceived, that his anger caused deaths, that the world went to war over a lie, he will never be the same. He will be stronger, more mature, more dangerous. And this time, he will not forgive. Continues. What did you think of this theory? Click the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. Until the next video. Bye.